Hi, I'm Katie Aloy Knight, and today I'm going to be discussing a topic. Well, we have all seen this behavior before. Our Jamaican men have no problem expressing their admiration for women, and there are some women who are comfortable doing likewise. But when the approach is wrong, a disconnect happens. It's an important topic we will discuss in our He Says, She Says series.
Sort out yourself, them coming for you. Sort out yourself, them coming for you and you. Sort out yourself, them coming for you.
Welcome to the start of our brand new series, He Says, She Says, where we express our perspectives on topics such as relationships, workplace habits, careers, and other issues that we frequently discuss in silos but are now bringing to the forefront. Joining us today are Reverend David Grant, the lead pastor of the Jamaica Evangelistic Center and the founder and CEO of Odigia Global, a leadership and personal development organization. Ms. Geraldine Garwood, a clinical psychologist, behavior analyst, and adult educator, and the founder of Behavior Change Consulting Services, and business owner Adermi Mitchell. Welcome to the show. They will be shedding some perspectives on everyday life situations we all want to talk about. And I'm your host, Andre Palmer. Today we're discussing romantic relationship dynamics. Let's get right into it. One of our local newspapers recently published an article detailing the attitude of why some women do not wish to marry. The following phrases stood out to me. My womb is not for rent, and I am safeguarding my mental health by not legally sharing my life with a man. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about these statements? Let's start with you, Reverend.
I figured you would. It's a very interesting statement, but it really speaks to what is happening right now. It's seeming to become the cultural norm. And the reality is that a lot of women have really been hurt by men. So they find it more challenging these days to commit themselves. Because when you talk about marriage, for instance, marriage is a lifelong commitment. And to think that after 2 years, this guy could really go crazy on me, And it's not just about just having the sex, having the children. It's about a commitment. And the ladies want the commitment. But if I'm going to be committed to somebody, he must be stable.
Ms. Garwood?
It's interesting that we started off like this because before coming inside, I was sharing my own personal story. Mm-hmm. And I like to share my personal journey. Marriage for me, I really didn't have much interest growing up. And one of the reasons I was sharing earlier is because my father instilled some things in me. He used to say, don't let any man put their hand on you, don't let any man shout at you, don't, take certain things from a man. And so for me, to protect my own sanity, if a male shout at me, it does strike something in me, and I feel that I react negatively. So having listened to what was said in the article, I somewhat can understand why a woman may feel that she needs to maintain her mental balance by not engaging in a relationship because of their history of reinforcement, right? What they have experienced, or they were brought up, or they were trained as a child, and what has been passed down to them. Some persons feel, or some women feel, that they are better off single. They maintain a healthy mental framework when they are single as against when they are in a relationship, whether a marital relationship, whether a concubinage relationship, whatever we may call it. But most women, or a number of women today, are not getting interested in this marriage thing.
Love might just be a four-letter word, but it means a lot to persons who handle it with care. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy, and it does not boast. Love is caring. Love is sharing. Love is something that makes you feel happy. Love is both a feeling and an emotion. I might not love you as I should, but I love you. more than any other human could.
I believe that really and truly it has a lot to do with social media in the role that it plays in regards to how they actually view marriage, to be honest. Where that is concerned is that basically the stigma that is going around where the new generation of women per se that are now here are looking towards just wanting to be free, not to be tied down to anyone per se, because they more likely probably view it as, oh, well, I'm going to be locked down with this person for how many years? Till the day I die? Oh, you know? So they tend to try to shy away from the whole long-term thing in terms of the whole marriage.
Okay. A follow-up question I want to ask everybody is, what do you believe are some of the influences that contribute to the perspectives? Because you mentioned social media, Ms. Garwood, you mentioned about the whole background of the persons. So why do you think that these beliefs what influence these persons' relationship goals in our modern day time now?
For me, if I may, I think it's twofold. It's one, history, and two, where we are now. Adormi mentioned the whole matter of social media, right? Back in the day, we only had a few media houses, but now everybody is a media expert. And we have the social media influencers who they, for the most part, are just sprouting their own opinions, and because it depends on the amount of likes and the amount of views that they have, they are now seen as authority on the subject matter. But then you also have, as I said, history, where unfortunately, like in our context, we see the abuse, the breaking up of relationships.
To be honest, it sometimes has to do with the home that they grew up in when it comes on to relationships, where the mommy and daddy, and we all know that relationship has their ups and downs, but sometimes it goes a bit too far, where in the household it becomes consistent with the parents back and forth arguing. So that kind of deter them from literally entering into an actual relationship with someone for a long term.
I want to shape your question, Ms. Garwood, a little bit different, because you are a clinical psychologist. So from a psychological perspective, what sort of impact does these information and experiences that they gather have in terms of shaping the belief of the relationships that persons may start?
I think that a number of persons, or a number of women, rather, would shy away from relationship based on some of the traumatic experiences that they have had. So traumatic experiences in younger years, and even traumatic experiences while entering a relationship. Trauma is a serious thing. It can damage a person's mental process. And so some of the traumas that the women would have experienced from childhood and even in relationships that they have attempted would just deter them and say, I don't want to get involved with anybody anymore.
One more question. Here's another. Do you believe the increasing number of women in the workforce is leading the family disconnect?
It's a matter of how they balance. I believe, yes, it does have some measure of negative impact, but balancing is what is very important.
Balancing, as David said earlier, is very important, but I just don't think that persons can just balance off their own. I think some of these things need training, or it needs women empowerment so that they can know that they have a support group, they have somebody in their corner to help them throughout balancing. Flipping
it to you, Adormi, in terms of from a younger person's perspective.
To be honest, right, from the younger generation, right, it's more like everybody's trying to be this independent person that doesn't really need another support. When really and truly, we do need support from each other, regardless.
Why do you think persons like a man and woman will live together for like over 10 years and don't get married? Why marriage is not happening right there?
For you and a lady bond together and you and have a overstanding, you know really mean that you have to go buy her a ring to show her your wife. You know? For you have a divine connection with you and she and God, that's a part of the first marriage. And then if you see the value of her and feel like you can finance her something valuable for sure, so she have that value, you can get her a ring.
Well, this is the end of our He Says, She Says conversation. Stay tuned for more. Our guests were Reverend David Grant, Miss Geraldine Garwood, and Adermi Mitchell. Thank you for watching, and I am Andre Palmer. Take care.